Hi, my name is Emma Bentley. Today for my argument and debate class, I will be discussing why Ukraine shouldn't be granted a fast-track membership into NATO. First, I'm going to start by discussing their current relationship with NATO. In 2008, NATO announced that Ukraine would become a member of NATO when they reached alliance standards, and NATO has an open door policy, meaning if Ukraine has followed NATO's advice and assistance program, also known as a membership action program, they will be allowed into NATO. And I have some quotes from Zelensky, the president of Ukraine. He says, "Every day we prove that we are ready to be in the alliance more than most of the countries of the European Union. I've asked directly, everyone is afraid, no one answers. It is clear Ukraine is not a member of NATO. We understand this. For years we have heard about the apparently open door, but we have also already heard that we will not enter there. And these are the truths that we must acknowledge." Vladimir Putin continues to commit war crimes, killing civilians, bombing schools, shelters, etc., and General Miley says Russia's invasion has killed an estimated 40,000 Ukrainian civilians and displaced 15 to 30 million. Ukraine and NATO have what is called the tailor-made relationship because they're one of the 6 enhanced opportunity partners. So they kind of get special treatment already. And NATO has been peacekeeping for years with Ukraine and Russia. And they have begun a new security reality to protect against Russia. And when Russia annexed Crimea and invaded eastern Ukraine in 2014, they suspended their cooperation with Russia and boosted Kyiv's defense by offering military training, deploying troops around Eastern Europe, funded cyber warfare preparedness and support reforms of Ukrainian armed forces, and more. They also created several trust funds since 2014, such as command, control, communications, computers, medical rehabilitation, and professional development programs. They also boosted their long-term support to Ukraine and provided the country with immediate, short-term, non-lethal military assistance. And since the CAP Trust Fund that was created in 2014, they have also provided support in multiple areas, including combat rations, fuel material, army boots, medical support, military training equipment, and explosive ordnance disposal equipment. And the CAP plans to support Ukraine in the long term by providing initiatives to further strengthen and modernize Ukraine's defense and security institutions. NATO stepped up their bilateral support and provisions of weapons and equipment, helping Ukraine with self-defense. NATO has also provided substantial financial and humanitarian aid, which we've all seen on the news, with multiple countries hosting millions of refugees, and they plan to continue to do so until Ukraine prevails in this war. NATO has also called on Ukraine multiple times to stop the war and retreat and engage in genuine diplomacy. Now, the main cause for them not allowing Ukraine to join NATO is because of the threats of World War III, because NATO has a collective defense, meaning if one country is attacked, the rest will defend them. And Ukraine is currently at war, which would push NATO immediately into a World War III if they joined. And Vladimir Putin has called NATO a red line for him, and he doesn't want any of the surrounding countries to be involved, especially Ukraine. And he has considered NATO's expansion and Ukraine wanting to join as one of the reasons for invading Ukraine. Putin wants a firm promise that Ukraine will never join NATO. And I have some quotes. Kyiv is well aware that such a step, Ukraine joining NATO, would mean a guaranteed escalation to World War III. The suicidal nature of such a step is understood by NATO members themselves. We must remember a nuclear conflict will affect absolutely the whole world, not only Russia and the collective West, but every country on this planet. The consequences would be disastrous for all mankind. Alexander Venediktov, the Deputy Director Secretary of Russia's Security Council. And on September 21st, Putin warned the West that he was not bluffing when he said he would be ready to use nuclear weapons to defend Russia against what he called was nuclear blackmail from major Western countries and NATO. And President Joe Biden said the world faces the biggest risk of nuclear Armageddon since 1962 with the Cuban Missile Crisis. And it's very important to remember that Russia and the US are the biggest nuclear powers, controlling over 90% of the world's nuclear warheads, and Russia actually controls the most. So again, we are supporting Ukraine, and I do believe that NATO should continue to support Ukraine, but it is unreasonable to let them join NATO when there's such heavy risk of nuclear war, because at the end of the day, a nuclear war would wipe out most, if not all, of human mankind. So yes, thank you.